Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be doing a review on the Crest Pico .5 boxing gloves. So check it out. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Crest Pro Fight Gear Pico .5 boxing gloves. Got mine in the black and gold colorway, 14 ounces. It is a Velcro closure only model that I'm pretty sure looks very similar to another brand out there, which we'll discuss here in a second. You can get this anywhere between 10 and 16 ounces, as well as two additional colorways in all white or all black. It's made of a synthetic leather polyurethane outside casing with synthetic mesh over the palm and layered foam padding that has a medium to firm density. And the gloves are manufactured in, I believe, either China or Pakistan. There's no actual tag on the inside of the gloves. Typically you see a tag on the inside somewhere that indicates where it's manufactured, but for these gloves there is no tag. So China or Pakistan is my best guess. Crest Pro Fight Gear is a brand that's based out of Finland, and what interested me in these gloves to begin with was the fact that they do look very similar to the rival sparring and bag gloves, namely the the RB11 and RS11V gloves, mainly because of the wrist support that they use on this. Very similar with the nylon straps that come across and tuck in to this side, and then you have the angled Velcro strap, and that's probably one of the better features that Rival does have with their gloves. So you can see that's pretty much where they got the inspiration for these Pico .5 boxing gloves. Now, from a design standpoint, you do have the Crest logo that goes down vertically in cursive on the back of the glove, as well as on the back of the 4-inch Velcro strap that has the weight at the very tip right there. For a 14-ounce glove from a profile size, I'd say that this is right on point, maybe a little bit more on the compact side. For those of you that like the little more compact and streamlined gloves, I think you guys would be a fan of this like I am when it comes to sizing. So you do have that synthetic material that a lot of companies use now. They call it microfiber. It's basically just their word for a synthetic polyurethane, and it does have a little bit of a texture to it, but overall it's very smooth and has more of a kind of a satin finish to it, and the gold on the back as well. The script is in black with black piping. Inside liner is really nice. It does have that tri-cot liner that's very smooth, no bunching up. Coming around to the side, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. You do have the nylon straps that basically forms a V, and the whole premise behind this is instead of having a strap that goes just straight across horizontally, you have one that kind of comes up. And essentially what it does, it gives you more support higher up on the lower portion of your palm, but also kind of pulls your thumb in with this strap. So when you pull on it, it's essentially supposed to kind of pull your thumb and make everything kind of compressed in and give you more of like a cast-like feel. So definitely love that feature with this glove. This to me would be okay for sparring. Rival has the RB11s where the actual clips are exposed, they're plastic, so obviously you would not use that for sparring because you can definitely hurt your partner. But with this, you can see that where the nylon straps go into, it's all covered and is very smooth and soft. So the straps go through and they're covered and they're soft. And then on the inside, there's actual plastic clips right here. That is what the nylon straps go through. But again, they're completely covered by a piece of padding. I'd say it's about a 1/4 inch in thickness to cover that up. So there's no way that you can hurt your sparring partner if you were to use these for sparring. But you do have those nylon straps. Showed you guys the inner liner. You have the Velcro. You do have the mesh palm. Not a big fan of that myself with the mesh palm, just because it feels cheap, and typically Velcro will get snagged on this and start to tear up the mesh. You do have a pretty large grip bar that is nice and firm as well, and you also have a full length attached thumb, and you can see it does a pretty good job of keeping the thumb in place without letting it overextend to poke somebody in the eye if you were to use these for sparring. So you can see it does a nice job of blending both colors, the gold and the black, to give a really clean look. You do have that gold thumb as well. So a very attractive looking glove. In terms of the logos and the way it looks, I think it looks pretty clean overall. Quality wise, these gloves are pretty solid. I'd say the areas that I'm not a fan of are going to be the mesh palm. The stitching on here looks pretty good overall. on the back of the hinge point as well. Everything looks clean. No issues with bubbling or any types of bumps or imperfections over the strike surface. And you can see I have a little bit of some abrasions right here on that, and that's because I've been using this glove sort of like for cross training. So I do push-ups with these. I hit the bag and I'll do like a circuit, boxing circuit training. So I'll do like, you know, a couple of rounds on the heavy bag. I'll do push-ups, sit-ups, all types of different conditioning exercises with my gloves on. So sometimes that gets a little banged up, especially if I'm using them for push-ups. Would not recommend that for more expensive, you know, gloves that you really want to take care of. But even with synthetic, I like to use that. I did that with my ISO Supremes as well. But you can see the gloves are really well balanced. So it's not top heavy or bottom heavy. I can grab the back cuff and the glove stays true. Weight-wise, I believe the gloves came at like 13.8 and 13.9 ounces. So pretty much on point with weight, which is great to see. Stitching on the palm side, where this meets up with the thumb. Right here, the piping looks good. This exterior side, all that looks cut and stitched in nicely. Stitches on the palm, on the thumb look clean. Where the thumb meets the index finger, all looks pretty good. On this outside edge, looks pretty good. So overall, I mean, stitching wise, everything looks good, symmetrical, nothing out of place, no stitching that's popping out, nothing that's obvious that you can tell is a quality control issue. So overall, quality is pretty solid. Comfort, putting in my hand into the glove. It is a very comfortable glove, and the wrist support on here is great. You can really pull that tight and get a nice locked in feel for your wrist. Thumb positioning is perfect. You can see that they put an emphasis on thumb placement, and it does have a little bit of a larger thumb compartment. So when I do make a fist that it has a natural pre-curve to it, you don't have to worry about your thumb jamming down. You can see that it does enough to where when you pull down on your thumb, that attached piece will do its job by kind of slightly pulling that in, but it doesn't pull down on the actual tip where it folds over and it feels like the thumb is too shallow. So in terms of the thumb, really nice, comfortable thumb there. Palm feels good, really soft right here in the mesh. Not a fan of that again. Really nice deep finger compartment with a secondary grip bar that feels like a piece of, almost feels like a piece of I want to say neoprene, or it's like they rolled over an extra piece of the inner liner to give you like that secondary grip bar that acts like memory foam for you to grip onto. So aside from this one, you also have one that covers the stitching, but not too wide, not too narrow, good amount of depth for the finger compartment. I venture to say 16 ounces would be a great size too for those of you that have a little bit longer fingers, larger hands. I think those will accommodate you well if you're looking for a little bit more of a compact fitting glove. But overall, very comfortable. No issues with the liner on the inside around the back of my hand, nor down to my wrist into my forearm. So that feels really good. No pressure points, nothing like that. So a very comfortable glove. Protection, performance-wise, I'd say that this glove is a little bit more on the protective side. You do get a decent amount of feedback, but it does a good job of absorbing shock. And I guess the obvious portion is going to be the wrist support of the glove. So if you're looking for a glove that gives you good wrist support, is great for the bags, and you can use it for sparring, this would definitely be a good choice. Decent amount of feedback, punch placement where your knuckles are landing is really good as well. Being a little bit more firmer, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more like horsehair with a softer foam, this would definitely be a little bit more on the denser side, so you might not be able to get the pop and feedback you're looking for out of like a horsehair or a open cell foam glove that compresses more. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more on the shock absorbent side, you can use it on more densely filled heavy bags like this wrecking ball bag. This one is pretty solid. So typically if I use my softer gloves on these, I just get a lot more, I guess you can say, tendinitis, tennis elbow. And also I can't really go as long with my bag work if I'm using a bag like this. Something like the Tidal wide load bag, the soft strike bags that when you punch them and you're really digging shots in, especially body shots, it has a lot more give, so the bag kind of flexes more and kind of conforms more to your punches. And those are a little bit more forgiving. Those are typically, in my opinion, better for like a horsehair style glove or a softer foam glove. This one you could definitely use on something a little bit more more densely filled, harder if you want to call it, and feel a little bit more confident because of the foam being a little bit on the denser side. Cost-wise, these gloves, once you convert it to US dollars, is about 70 US dollars, which is obviously, if you're going to compare this to the rival counterparts, are way cheaper, more than half the cost and price. Now, obviously, there's some key differences with this glove. Design-wise, they look different a little bit, you know, with the Crest logo. This one does use a synthetic, similar to the microfiber that Rival uses. It doesn't have the same texture, but it, again, is their version of a synthetic. It's held up pretty well overall. I've had these gloves for a couple of months now in my rotation. But for $70, including, you know, and obviously with shipping, you know, depending on where you live, say $20 to $30 for shipping, you're looking at like $100, maybe even, if we're gonna stretch it out, say $110. I think it's a really good deal for a glove like this. If you're looking for something specifically with this type of wrist support, or maybe you want an alternative to the Rival gloves and don't mind the colorways and how the gloves look aesthetically, you have, you know, white or all black you can choose from, and you have a good range in sizes, 10 to 16 ounces. So even if you wanted to go with like a 10-ounce version, more compact like a fight glove, and use that strictly for bags, you can do that. But I definitely think this is a really good alternative to other similar gloves out there in the market that offer a similar type of wrist support system. So that to me is what really makes this glove attractive. And the fact that they went with layered foam, that's more protective. They didn't go, you know, go cheap and use molded foam where it just feels like you have a couple of rocks over your hands. So I definitely like this glove in the fact that it kind of fills a little bit of a void when it comes to gloves that have this type of wrist support. And the price is definitely more than fair. You know, you're not coming in with a glove that's $200, $250. This is, to me, a sub $100 glove and does everything very well. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below, and I'll put the link in the description box so you can find these Crest Pico .5 boxing gloves. See you guys later. Peace.